potato. Yes, we've masked up and gone outside again, this time for the Harvest Festival, which is totally out of focus, isn't it? Let's try, there we go, the Harvest Festival. Although it's being called the Harvest Marketplace this year. Normally this time of year, we would go to the Mountain Mandarin Festival, but that has also become a Mountain Mandarin Marketplace. We thought, well, we try the local one sometime and see what we think of that. They're just opening up, so as you can see, there's not a lot of people here yet. Hopefully we will have a chance to try some of this food and see if there's anything particularly interesting in it. Otherwise, we're gonna look around inside, see what kind of craft items there are to see, and hopefully have ourselves a fun and reasonably safe time. So let's go get in the queue so we can get inside. So since we're outside, we can still actually get a sample. This is an espresso-infused caramel from 3D Candies. So let's give it a try. It's hard to eat caramel with your mask on. Wow, that is really strongly coffee flavored. Yes, I'm dropping chocolate. This is actually quite good. We have to buy some of these. Oh, line's starting to move. So I guess better stop the video and finish eating this. Well, we have looked through everything inside the festival. I'd say the food offerings here don't look bad by any means. Garlic fries sound good, but there's nothing really like video worthy here. You know what I mean? We did, however, find some interesting things inside the event, so let's head back to the void space and we'll check those out and see how they are. So come on, let's get out of here. And we are back here in the void space. Here is our bag of goodies from the Harvest Festival. I didn't realize this is actually like a whole chain of touring shows. They do shows in Vegas and Orange County and Ventura, Del Mar, Pleasanton, San Mateo, Sacramento, San Jose, and Pomona. I'm guessing we had it in Roseville this year because Sacramento is in a much worse place as far as infections go than Placer is, although they're both purple tier right now. But I think this is actually the big one they usually do at the Cal Expo that we've just never gone to. But yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a little smaller than I would have expected, to be honest. I thought they would fill the building up. Of course, I mean, extra wide aisles, space between each booth, I expected. But I thought they would still have the building open all the way, and I don't know if you could tell in the video or not, but it didn't. It stopped. Probably a couple more rows could have fit in there had they had enough vendors, but I guess they didn't. But never mind, we still managed to find a bunch of things to buy, so let's start unpacking them. Let's just get everything out of this bag now, so that then we can put it all on the table, and I can put the camera down at an angle where you can actually see those things instead of just seeing the bag. Got a couple more things in here. Yep, so we found a few goodies. Is that everything? That's everything. All right, so let's go down a little bit to this mess of stuff and take a closer look at it. Put that aside. Let's start with this. And I probably shouldn't have put the camera down because I probably need it back up for this. So, of course, everywhere I go, I have to look for something Haunted Mansion. And this was no exception. Let's go. So I shouldn't have put the camera down yet because now I need to put it back up so you can see this. It's a reproduction of the Haunted Mansion artwork from Disneyland, put onto a piece of wood to make it look good and antique-y. And that's cute. I actually think we saw this person at the mall last year. There we go, that's better. Selling these things. And we didn't get it because when we went back to get one, she closed up her booth and was gone. It was too close to the holidays, I guess. But yep, she's back this year at the Harvest Festival, and we now have our Haunted Mansion wall sign. It is actually mounted on the back here, so you can hang it up. And yeah, you may think, is that a legitimate item? Is that a licensed item? That is not. It almost certainly isn't. And frankly, a lot of the stuff she had, the images are a little fuzzy on them because I'm thinking she's largely just getting these off the internet and then printing them out onto whatever she transfers them to the wood for. Or perhaps she has a printer that lets her print directly to the wood, because some of them a little fuzzy, like perhaps they weren't quite big enough for her to blow them up to this size. But it's still nice, and we'll have to find some place on the wall for it. Right, next, let's look at these. 3D candies. Yes, that is the same company that I tried in line. That's the only sample I got while we were there, because they aren't allowed to give samples out inside the building. And so the guy had come out to us who were in line outside of the building still and gave us samples, which were all individually wrapped. He didn't touch them with his hands, at least not at that point. Nobody else touched mine. I didn't touch anybody else's because they were all in little plastic baggies. And yeah, in line we tried the espresso ones, which, yep, we did buy a package of. I think they were $5, and then also picked up a package of these. These are Hot Mamas. The woman at the booth described them as a slow burn. I guess they kind of creep up on you as you eat them. They are jalapeno and habanero. And they were actually, the espresso ones were quite creamy and pretty good. I enjoyed them, and hence the fact we bought some more. So let's give these a try. Our gourmet, spicy hot caramels. I hope they're decent, because I have like 5 of them here. And I know my wife isn't going to eat any of them. So they're all me. Alright, here we go. Let's take a look. There is ourselves a little look at our spicy habanero candies. Let's see, I think I'll try the one with the smallest bit of pepper on it for my own safety. Put those to the side, put the little lid back on them. Yeah, so I mean, I was a little disappointed in the food options there. The food trucks outside, there's nothing wrong with them per se. It's just, it would have been nice had there been, I don't know, something more unique. I wasn't expecting things to be Mandarin themed like at the Mandarin Festival, but just more unique options would have been nice. Would you look at that? It's got a little piece of pepper on the top there. Doesn't really smell, doesn't smell like much of anything, honestly. So let's give it a try. It's a very creamy caramel. It doesn't stick to your teeth particularly bad. It's not hard. Oh, yeah, there's that heat. Comes up right at the back of the throat when you swallow. Oh, and now it's on my tongue. It's not unbearably hot by any means. It's interesting. I don't know that I would ever buy them just to eat. It can be kind of fun to maybe sneak these into an assortment of something else that looks similar, just to mess with people. It's not unbearably hot, but yeah, it does take a few seconds for that heat to hit you. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I will finish that one. These aren't going to join the trash uneaten club. They'll get eaten. Let's, before we do the other food items, because we do have the other food items, we have this. Let's do this first. And this is from, in case you're wondering, 3D Candies stands for Divinely Delicious and Delightful. Yeah, it's quite good. I suppose I should have said at the beginning, nothing in this video is sponsored. I received no discounts on any of these. I didn't even tell them I was going to do a video on them. Although I probably should have. I probably could have gotten them to explain the product a little bit to me on camera, and I could have included that for you. But I didn't. So this item is called, well, let's get it out of the plastic first, so you can get a look at it. And I bought this from, what was it? His and Her Rocks. And it was 30 bucks. And it's really, I think, pretty, quite pretty. Let's get that tag off there. All right, so if you put it just yet, see, you can see there, hopefully it shows up on camera. I think it looks like it does. That from certain angles, the light just kind of goes right on through it. This is a rock called ulexite. And this is they give me a little card saying what it is. Let's start with the part that's probably actually factual. Also used in fiber optic cable. Now that's why it transmits light in like one, well, yes, technically 2 directions, differently than the other 2. Because it's a form of fiber optic. According to the little card, also, it is a very psychic stone that can help with third eye activation and healing. It is also useful in relationships as it helps tune into someone else's heart. So it's a healing stone as well. I don't know about that. But it's a pretty stone. And I want to see, unfortunately, I used to have these little stands that you put under things to light them up from beneath, and I don't have any that work anymore. So I'm going to try it with my phone and see if it does anything to this. And, yeah, not much. So that's interesting. So see, like this way, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but if you hold it right, the light only really passes through it well in one direction. So that's kind of cool. I don't know, it was worth 30 bucks. Maybe not to you. It was to me. I like it. It's purty. It will probably get a shelf space at some point. Next up, we look at this. Loose leaf tea from the Kitchen Witch Gourmet. We've actually bought tea from them before. We bought like a chai from them before. That was pretty good. And I haven't actually seen them anywhere for a few years. I think we usually saw them at the Mandarin Festival. And this year they were at the Harvest Festival or Harvest Market. So, yep, so we picked up a jar of their Earl Grey. And let's make ourselves a nice cup of tea. They pack that in there tight. Let's give it a sniff. Yeah, very strong, a little citrusy. You can smell the bergamot, which of course you usually can with decent Earl Grey. It says to put 1 teaspoon in a cup of almost boiling water. The cup we'll use is my old X-Files mug, which I've had since the 90s. It's quite old, and I have better tea makers to use for this sort of thing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use an old-fashioned tea ball diffuser and our old Teavana Perfect teaspoon. I lost a little bit. Remember Teavana? Teavana was great. I love Teavana. And then Starbucks bought them and murdered them, as Starbucks tends to do to people it buys. Oh well. There are other loose leaf teas out there. Alright. That just fits in the cup. I mean, the reason this is kind of a nice diffuser if you're going to use one is that it gives enough room in there for the tea to actually bloom out a bit. The instructions say to use well, it says 8 ounces, but I don't know, whatever fits in there is what we're going to use, of almost boiling water. This water was boiling before I started recording, so it should be still in the almost boiling range. Let's add that on. And let that brew for a couple of minutes. I think it's at 3 to 5 on the instructions. And so while that's brewing, we'll look at the last item. We'll just put that there and let it go. We'll look at our last item, which are Welsh cakes. What are Welsh cakes, you may well ask? Well, I'd never heard of them either. But according to the packaging, croeso, that's welcome in French, and I'm sure I said that wrong. When I was a little girl growing up in Wales, I could have never dreamed that I would one day be spreading the joy of Welsh culture in America. From my signature hand-griddled Welsh cakes, traditional baked goods, it is with great pride that I make these by hand every week as my ancestors have done for centuries. I share these delicacies with you so you and your family can experience the warmth and charm of Welsh culture. I trust that you will enjoy these as much as I enjoy making them. Diolch yn fawr. Again, I'm sure I said that wrong. That's thank you very much in Welsh, Denise. And there's a little picture of Denise on there. And she was actually the woman at the booth. I think you can see her in the video, very briefly. So we picked up 3 of them to give it a try. We tried chocolate chip, gingerbread, and maple bacon butterscotch, because how could I not? And the instructions on these say you just microwave them, if you're doing a whole package, which we'll do 3 of them, so it's almost a whole package, for 15 to 20 seconds, and serve them with coffee, tea, milk, wine, and cheese. Nice with butter, jam, honey, brie, ice cream, lemon curd, or clotted cream. Experiment and enjoy. Today we'll just try them plain, so we can get the experience of them on their own. And these are from welshbaker.com. And you can join her fan club on there, which basically means you can join her mailing list, and get some of these for a lower price. So let's open the package on these and see what they're like. I don't have the lid on that properly, so let's be careful with it, shall we? Let's open up these, give them a look, and then we'll go heat them up. They also have like shortbread and like little muffin ones too, but we got the cakes. They are firm but slightly soft. Let's get them on here. Why don't we tilt down so you can actually see them? So I'm saying they're firm, slightly soft. They feel like they would be crumbly if I pushed on them too hard, so I'm kind of being careful trying to get them out of the package. But they kind of have a little bit of the texture on the outside of like an English muffin, which apparently is not actually like an English thing. It's like a cross between a crumpet and something else. And there's our chocolate chip. All right, so yeah, they're reasonably firm. They're like a really like a biscuit that didn't rise properly is kind of how they feel. But of course, they're cooked on the griddle. Smell good. That's our chocolate chip. Oh, I've gotten them all mixed up. I think that's our maple bacon. Doesn't smell strongly of anything. Oh yeah, that's definitely our gingerbread. So that's got to be our maple bacon. So yeah, it just says to heat these up in the microwave for, what did I say it was? I know I said what it was, 15 to 20 seconds. So while my tea finishes brewing, which it probably is almost there, while my tea finishes brewing, I'm going to go microwave these real quick, and then we'll try them and with the tea. So give me a second, I'll be right back. There are our microwaved Welsh cakes. They are definitely a little bit softer now. They do feel like very, very dense, like English muffins. Little dense English muffins. Maybe the English stole the idea from the Welsh, who knows. Alright, so our tea is almost certainly brewed by now. Probably a little overbrewed actually, but that's okay. I mean, I normally, when I make Earl Grey, I usually just leave the bag in there. So it's not like it's going to be too strong for me. Look, you can see that there's plenty of room there for the tea to have bloomed and grown out and floated around so the water can go through it. Let's get that out of the way. Let's throw our Welsh cakes in the picture here because we're almost done. We're at the end. All right, let's try our tea first with a clean palate. Doesn't smell particularly more flavorful than normal tea, but let's give it a try. You know, I kind of expect it to be a little more citrusy, and it's not. It's not bad. It's pretty standard Earl Grey. I don't necessarily know that it's necessarily superbly better than any other Earl Grey I've ever had. It's probably a little better than some of the bagged tea I make. And I've just spilled it all over the place. And not on the tablecloth, unfortunately. Well, a little bit on the tablecloth. That's not great. But yeah, it doesn't taste bad. It's Earl Grey tea. It's exactly what it says on the package. Given the description, I kind of expected a little more of a citrusiness to it. And it's just Earl Grey tea. It's nothing super weird about it. All right, let's try our cakes before they cool off too much. See, it's a very dense, this is the gingerbread one. It's a very dense cake on the inside. But I guess that's how it's supposed to be. Very flavorful. I think that's sugar on the outside of it. It's a very dense cake. If it wasn't the way it's supposed to be, and I'm assuming it is the way it's supposed to be, you would almost think that the person had somehow messed up and not proved it, or I think it's a very, very tight cake. And it's not doughy in your mouth, but very dense in your mouth, and then it breaks up. It's not bad. It's kind of hard for me to explain it. Here's our chocolate chip. Quite like the flavor on that one. Again, just very, very dense. I don't know that you'd want to eat too many of these at one time. Which is probably why they're sold in such small packages. And it's just that basically they keep like bread, so you can leave them on the counter. I would assume put them in a zip top or something since I've opened them for like a week, or put them in the fridge. I'm guessing that means they also probably will go moldy if you leave them in there too long. So I'll probably have to finish these probably this weekend, or at least in the next couple days. All right, let's try the maple bacon. Let's face it, it's the one that I bought more as a gag than anything else. It kind of smells like a pancake. That's probably what the maple is. In fact, yeah, I'm sure it's the maple I'm smelling. It smells like pancakes. I don't smell bacon at all. I'm a little disappointed there. I don't taste bacon. I don't taste butterscotch per se either. I taste maple. This tastes like a really dense pancake. And that's not a bad thing. The texture actually is a little bit comparable to a pancake texture, which makes sense. These are griddle fried. Pancakes are griddle fried. So there should be some similarities there. It tastes like a very dense pancake with syrup. I don't really taste bacon. I don't really taste butterscotch, but it doesn't taste bad. I mean, if it didn't say bacon when I bought this one, no, they actually had another, like a maple pecan one or something. I probably would have got that instead. But it's not bad. None of these are bad. We will definitely finish eating these. And yeah, that'll do it. That'll wrap us up on the Harvest Marketplace Festival I don't remember what it was called. I'm sure I probably have it written down here, correcting myself to whatever it actually was called. Harvest Festival is what it's called on the bag. But I want to say it was called like Harvest Market. I'm sure it's in one of the signs on the video that have already been seen. So I don't mind repeating myself now. Anyway, if you are interested in any of this stuff, and you happen to be watching this on the day it comes out, today is the last day of it. Today being the day that this video is released, not the day I'm recording it, which is the day before. But Sunday, November the 22nd, I'll put it that way. Sunday, November 22nd is the last day of the show in Roseville. So if you are in that area and you want to check it out and you happen to watch this early in the morning when it's released, you can still have a chance to go there and check it out yourself. I would say the mask wearing was good. The spacing in the room, I'm gonna say it felt a little tighter than the anime show or the Roseville Comic Con. But I almost wonder if that's because the booths were like taller, and it just kind of made things feel a little bit more cavernous in the actual aisles. But I never felt like we were terribly crowded. People had their masks on for the most part. They were serving alcohol inside the building, which I'm not sure how that's supposed to work since you have to keep your mask on. But there was a full bar. There weren't any like special fall drinks or anything being offered. Otherwise, I would have got one of those and done that in the video. But yeah, it was a fun experience. Is it better than the Mandarin Festival? I honestly think we spent more money here than we spent at the Mandarin Festival. And that's just because like I've never seen this booth before. I've never seen 3D candies before. So that could be why. There's just more stuff in. We've seen Kitchen Witch before. But that's just because they're good quality. This is a good quality tea. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't like blow my tongue out of my mouth or anything. And the habanero candy there, a little different. But yeah, we'll wrap it up with that. If you are watching this on Sunday, November the 22nd in the year 2020, go check this out. It's not a day-long event. We were there for maybe a couple hours, but it was fun. And we found some neat, interesting new things. And I have enjoyed sharing them with you, and I hope you've enjoyed watching me share them with you. If you did, please give the video a like, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video.